Hello arcade gamers and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're doing Sunday Chill and Chat live with the home arcade community. I hope everyone's having a great evening. We've got a lot to talk about. I missed last week, so got quite a bit of news to discuss tonight. Also, I streamed earlier today. I also did some streaming of some pinball. B-Me had mentioned that. Double Biggie D today. So yeah, if you guys did not get a chance to check out that stream earlier, it was about a 2.5 hour long stream. Had some technical issues starting out. In fact, the stream actually crashed on me like as soon as I started it. And it's been a really long time since I've had to deal with that. But I just overloaded the PC, I think, and it just crashed. So I had to start the stream back over. And then it crashed again. And I was like, you know what? There's a bunch of people in the chat. Let's give it one more shot just so everyone who wanted to watch can watch if we can make this happen. On the third time was a charm. I was able to keep it going for the whole stream, no issues at all. So I don't know what the heck was going on. Maybe it was just like first time doing it. The computer didn't recognize all these different inputs and capture cards, and it just took a minute for it to catch up. But ended up working out. Was able to capture the vertical pinball screen as well as the DMD in the back glass, as well as have a camera on me so you could still see me playing as well. So overall, I thought it went really well, you know, and we'll have future live streams like that now that I've got it all set up. I'm going to try and keep everything the way it is in there so we can just go live whenever we want. Because I've been playing a ton of pinball, so I think it's a great way to share that with the community and have a good time. Wheezy3441 says Golden Flow. Good to see you. Not sure exactly what that means other than maybe the golden ticket I've been hearing about this new Street Fighter Alpha iconic arcade. That's the only thing I can relate to that. But good to see you. Papa Brad's Gaming says, hello gamers. Good to see you, Papa Brad. He says At Games has a sale with tables up to 70% off. That's huge. That's a big savings. That's when like I'll start shopping the Zen Studios tables is when they go on sale. When I see them at like 50% off, but 70, no way have I ever seen it that low for Zen. So really cool to see them doing such a big sale right now. Says he sold a pinball and he bought a pinball, LOL. So what he's referring to is the poll that's going on right now. We've got 11 votes. It says, will you be buying a new home arcade or a pinball for Christmas? Because we're fastly approaching now Christmas, and a lot of the shopping for that is going to be happening on Black Friday, which is just a few weeks away now. So actually less than 3 weeks away now. So we've really got to start ramping up for Black Friday sales, Christmas shopping, all that. So I kind of want to introduce everyone to like cabinets that are probably going to be on discount that you're going to see some savings on to kind of get a head start on, you know, ideas on what you might want to get or maybe be interested in. Right now we've got 17 votes. 24% are saying yes, home arcade. So they're going to be getting a home, not the community home arcade, but an actual arcade that's meant for the home. 24% of people are getting that. Yes, pinball. 12% are saying yes, pinball. That's like Could either be like a real pinball or a virtual pinball. I mean, with the new home edition pinball at Costco, that Star Wars, you know, they're not that expensive now. They're pretty reasonable. So that kind of fits into home arcade now as well, if you consider like those home edition Stern pinball tables. I'm kind of interested in one of those myself. You know, I think I fall in the category of yes pinball this year for Christmas. I'm going to be picking up a pinball. I just don't know. Is it going to be the real one? Am I going to be able to get one for less than $3,000? Because that's really going to be kind of my max budget for one of those. Or am I going to get the TMNT at Games pinball, which is going to be $9.99? You know, I'm leaning more towards the TMNT pinball, but also talking about like, you know, virtual pinball. Do I really need another virtual pinball table? Do I really need the At Games pinball table? Because I have the X Arcade, and the X Arcade gives me everything that the At Games would, except for the cabinet, the actual pinball cabinet. So do I really need that? And do I really need it in addition to what I already have also? So it has me leaning more towards a real pinball table than another virtual one. But we'll see. I mean, that TMNT is going to be hard to pass up at $1,000 when that time comes. So I may end up getting that. I don't know. I'm just kind of on the fence right now. Like, I really want the TMNT at Games pinball. I really do. And then like there's days like today where I'm like thinking to myself, do I really need this? Is this something that I should take up so much room in my apartment for, when in reality I really want a real pinball table? So we'll see how all this plays out. Papa Brad's Gaming's using all his emojis with his membership, so definitely go become a member, 99 cents a month, and you'll be able to do that. He's saying, where's his wrench? He's just flat out asking right out in front of everyone. Papa Brad, I've only got a couple of moderators right now. It's Steps Gaming and Brooklyn Menace, and they've both been moderators of mine since I can remember, since like the very beginning. And those have really been the only two moderators I've ever needed. So if I end up adding a third, you know, definitely you're going to be in consideration. But I just haven't had a need really. Java UK, good evening, morning dudes. Missed your other live Biggie D. Hope you had fun, pal. Yeah, we had a great time earlier streaming. Did the DMD, the back glass, all that. It was really cool to get all that working. We had a great time. You can go catch the replay, and we'll be doing these streams more often in the future. So be looking for those. Israel Gaming is here saying, what's up, Biggie D? Israel was hanging out in the chat with us today. He had some really good stuff as well, which we're going to be covering tonight. Ritual Delos here saying, evening all. Hope all had a fine weekend. I had a very good weekend. Trying to stay as busy as I can. You know, I mean, I've been, of course, busy really with work, but on the weekend, just trying to get outdoors and enjoy this cooler weather we're getting now here in Arizona. Like today, it was like 90 degrees, but if I go up north a little bit, it's like perfect. It's like 70 degrees. So I've been taking trips up north, about a 2-3 hour drives up north, and it's amazing up there right now. End of the line, 4460 says, hey, Biggie, good to see you. MSU Rich saying, hey, Biggie, good to see you as well. MSU Rich. We've also got a lot more people coming in here towards the start of the stream. Good to see everybody tonight. Tomato Sauce saying, sup, Biggie. Brad, sup all. Good to see Tomato Sauce in the chat. Also saw your Sub-Zero action figure you painted with all the blood and gore and the spine rip out. That was so cool. I love watching those videos and seeing what you're doing. I'm an artistic person, so never really been into sculptures or painting sculptures, but just anything artistic, I'm like really appreciative of and enjoy watching that stuff. So keep it coming. Ritual Della's saying, hey, MSU Rich, Neo Arcade News is here. So go check out Neo Arcade News and then the Arcade Insiders live stream every week. This is really going to be your number one source for home arcade news. Actually, a lot of what we're going to cover tonight, majority of it I got through them as my source. So, and it's not like an inside source. They're giving this to everyone, you know, and I'm getting the news at the same time you guys are. So great to have that. Papa Brad's Gaming is saying playing in cabinet is still different. Playing with the cabinet. He's talking about like the At Games compared to having like the X Arcade. I do understand that having that pinball cabinet, it gives you more of that immersive feel that you're really in front of a real pinball table. So I can see that. Ritual Dello says, when I get my X Arcade haptic kit, I won't need anything else for pinball for my setup. And that's how I feel like that's the only thing I'm really missing is that ability to be able to nudge, have that haptic feedback, have the plunger, have the extra sound coming off those new speakers. I feel like that's all I'm missing right now. And once I get that haptic kit, do I really need the at games is my thinking. B Kirby is here saying, what's up, Biggie D? B Kirby was in our live stream pinball earlier, and he had said he's going to be in town here maybe in a few weeks. So I did run into B Kirby at Pinball Expo in Chicago. Probably going to be hanging out with him some more because he lives in the area. So maybe we can meet up at an arcade or go on a hike or, you know, do something. It'd be fun to hang out. And Steps Gaming is here saying, hey, good to see you, Steps. And always checking out Steps. She's doing a lot of really good content right now, really dedicated to what she's doing. You know, like where I'd missed last Friday, she keeps going every week, you know, dedicated to her live streams no matter what. Really good to see that. Mikey Yoon saying, what's up, guys? Good to see Mikey. All right, so tonight is going to be a little bit different. I'm not super prepared. I feel like I'm best on live streams when I'm like really prepared and I have a bunch of slides and I have everything planned out exactly. You know, there's an agenda and we're going to go with that and follow what I have prepared. But tonight it's just going to be winging it. Don't really have anything prepared. Going to be trying something a little bit different, actually. This allows me to like do that pinball live stream today rather than preparing for this. Also, I can play other games. I can go exercise. I can, you know, enjoy my Sunday. So we'll see how this week goes and how the news goes this week in this format. And if people like it, maybe I'll stick with it. If people don't, maybe I need to go back to doing more prep work. But we're going to basically, and this is kind of new, where I'm updating the At Home Arcades website pretty much every single day now, rather than, you know, getting the news and putting it into a notebook and then preparing it all for a Sunday. I'm just going to start updating the website with news. That way, when we come to here on Sunday evening, we've already got everything we need right here on the website. So I think that's a really maybe easier way of doing things, and also better for you guys because you don't have to wait a full week to get the news. Let's see, today is the 9th, right? And I wasn't here last week, which was the 2nd. So we haven't been here on Biggie D's Arcade Live for like a dedicated chill and chat since the 26th. So let's go back, and we're going to start after our last live stream. So that was going to be right here, where we had learned that Iconic Arcade is going to be sold at Amazon. So just like the basic fun cabinets were being sold on Amazon, you're also going to be able to get your Iconic Arcade that way as well. And that's where we had left off last live stream. So let's get into this newer stuff. Now this is the True Edge banding Iconic Arcade Street Fighter Alpha 2. Look at the packaging, a look at the T-molding. And there was like a lot of speculation out there of that this artwork just wasn't looking right. Like there was like some, I guess like the art just wasn't clear, and it was getting this edge banding, right? So let's take a look at this a little bit closer, and you can kind of see it in this image. So I can, like James Hates Everything, I think was the first one who kind of mentioned this. And I mean, in this image, it really does kind of seem that way, especially along this line here, right between the Capcom logo and the Alpha 2 logo. You are seeing those lines. So I can see why he was thrown off. But here's the problem. Coming out and saying to the community or to people that watch YouTube that follow Home Arcade that this artwork's messed up without actually seeing it in person or getting more images and just basing that take off of what you're seeing on this one image. I don't think that's the right way of going about things, because images can be deceiving. So unless you have like a real source that can send you multiple photos, or you have a video, or you see it in front of you, I don't know if you should be making those calls and saying that the artwork's ruined because of this, because in fact, it's not. It actually looks really good. So we're actually going to skip ahead a little bit to this week because we got some more images of it, and we'll just skip right to this. Let's get right to it. So this was posted by the Arcade Insiders this week. This is a better image of it here of the Alpha 2. If you guys click on this link, this is going to take you to the Reddit page where this was posted at. Okay. You're going to see here, let's take this image for instance. And I see what they're saying, right? Like those lines that are going through the artwork. And I don't know. I don't know if that's like on purpose or if that is like something went wrong in the printing of this image. I can't tell. I almost want to lean like this is purposefully done in like a comic book kind of texture style. Okay, that's what I'm leaning towards right now. I don't think this looks bad at all. Would I have preferred it not to have this kind of texture to it? Yes. But does it ruin it? Absolutely not. I think especially when you zoom out and you're farther away, you definitely don't see it. But like, let's say I'm like right up next to it and I've got my eyes right in front of the side panel, you're going to really notice that. But it's not like terrible. And I don't think it was done in error this way. I think this is how it is meant to look. So that's just the image that they took. That's the texture to that image, and that's the artwork itself. So I think it looks pretty good overall. I would have still been leaning World Warrior anyways. This wasn't going to be my pick of the two regardless. I would have gone with the more classic World Warrior artwork myself. But if I was to buy this one, I'd be really happy with this artwork as well. I think it looks amazing. And you got to think too, guys, like our Arcade 1-Ups, Basic Fun, which is new now. They don't do a really good job of filling out the side panels that well. You know, just looking behind me, even the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which they did a really good job on, there's still empty areas, right? Where this one, they've actually filled out the entire side panel with artwork. So it looks really good in the way that they did this. We're going to take a look here at another closer look. This is going to be your World Warrior artwork. And I just saw B. Kirby had sent over 10 Biggie D's arcade memberships. I really appreciate that, B. Kirby. That is awesome of you. I mean, literally every week you've been doing that. So, you know, I appreciate it. It's so awesome of you to give us that support and to buy all these memberships every week. But, you know, don't do it if you don't feel like you really want to, you know, because we'll be fine whether you are given memberships or not. I really appreciate it, but I also don't want you to overgive either. I feel like every week you're doing it. So really appreciative of it, but also don't feel like that's something that, you know, you've gotten used to and you feel like you need to do, because we're just appreciative that you're here. So, but awesome that you gave out those memberships. B. Kirby is a great member of the community. He really is one of the best, I think, that I've met in the community. He's one of the most giving and friendly people I've met. So this is the World Warrior artwork. It's looking really good too. And you're noticing on the World Warrior really close up how it has that kind of texture as well. It's not the lines, it's more dots on this one, but it looks really good. Let's see here. A full shot of the side panel on the World Warrior 2 or the Street Fighter 2 World Warrior artwork. And I just love this here on the bottom, this like, what do we call this? Like late 80s, early 90s, just theme to it. I just love that. And if you guys look behind me here, I've always loved this sign directly above my head because it's got that same artwork. Oh man, that brings back some memories right there. So that would be the one I would get, is this this one. And then of course they've changed that logo up. It's got, you know, it's not coming all the way down. Now it's across the side, horizontal. And then this is Street Fighter 20, the art. Okay, so this is just like the actual artwork that they used for that image. Yeah, it looks amazing. Looks really good. So I think maybe Neo Hyper had created this post. Yeah, I'm sure he did, because it's well written and well presented. And so go check that out. All the information you're going to need is there. Also saw RGT85 received a membership. That's so awesome that RGT is still a member of our channel. He was a guest long ago, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Had a really great live stream with him. We got a lot of discussion in, but I still keep up with RGT85 and his videos. Also, Moat, Mike of All Trades, got a membership as well. So seeing some good names in there, people that I recognize. So Step says, hey, Neo and B Kirby and Papa Brad and Brooklyn and Biggie and Mikey and Ritual Della, whoever you are. Mikey says, are they still on track for December? So that's a good question. In fact, it doesn't sound like they're going to make Christmas now. It's sounding like the Iconic Arcade is going to ship probably early December. People probably will not receive these Iconic Arcades till January, I'm hearing now. Neo Arcade News says that's the canvas texture, and it was original acrylic painting by Dai Chan, famous Japanese artist, the original, just like that. Yeah, I don't see any issues at all with the artwork. I think sometimes we're grasping, you know, people that follow Home Arcade are sometimes grasping for stuff that is like headline news, because sometimes we're lacking things to discuss. And I think with that story, it was just like a slow week. People were looking for things to nitpick, and it just happened to be the Street Fighter Alpha 2 cabinet last week. Let's see. Calvin Wong's here with the grin. Good to see Calvin Wong here. And yes, always good to see Moat. Mike of All Trades. Love Moat's channel and what he does for the fighting game community. I know he's amped for these new cabinets coming. So that's going to be the Alpha 2 news, which I wanted to cover with you guys. And it kind of started last week with that edge banding. And then we got that follow-up news this week. Kind of wrap that up just to kind of let everyone know, assure everyone that the artwork is fine. There's no issue with the artwork. All right, so it was one after another, wasn't it? Because then we got the light bleed. We had talked about the light bleed last stream, and then shortly after last stream, we got the news from John D, who had confirmed this for us. So he says, light bleed behind the bezel, is it an issue? When the factory showed gameplay on the assembly video, many people noticed that there was light bleed behind the physical bezel. After reviewing and talking to the factory, this was because the gameplay was shown with the bezel feature on. So you have those bars on the side that show that additional artwork, and that's what you were seeing. With the bezel feature off, where you have the black bars on the side, you're not going to get that light bleed. So he does thank everyone for the feedback, and he's always trying to improve and make this better. So just assuring everyone, no light bleed, no issues there. I was a little bit concerned about that too when I saw that assembly video, and I guess we were right on. I mean, initially, John D had said that was just like the lighting in the room reflecting off the bezel. He was actually wrong when he stated that. So he put out this letter or this communication to everyone to let everyone know he was wrong. That was light bleed, but they figured out how to prevent that, and that's just by turning the artwork off on those the sides there of the screen, because it is a 16:9 screen, so it is a wide screen. You're gonna have to have the black bars on there not to see anything. That's a little bit unfortunate. When I saw the news that they were going from the 4:3 to the 16:9 screen, I was a little bit concerned when I heard that. And in fact, I kind of got over it a little bit. Just the more and more I saw on the Iconic Arcade and how good it looked, I kind of started to get over that. But I was still concerned, at the end of the day about it. And this is, prime reason why because of things like this. You know, the bezel's got to be perfect in order for you not to see the screen on the sides. So we'll see what they've got up their sleeve, how they're going to make this perfect. But I do feel like John D is, you know, no stone unturned. He's got all hands on deck to make sure that this cabinet is perfect. And I believe he'll make it as great as he can be, you know, within his ability. You know, he is going to have to work with this widescreen. So we'll see what they can come up with. Burnt Oranges says if they reopened pre-orders, he would be down if they did. Calvin Wong says, if your video card for pinball enough memory, is your video card for pinball enough memory? I guess it was. It ended up working out, you know, but I mean, it's borderline. It's cutting it, right? If my computer had any less power, I don't think it would have been able to pull that off. You know, it's just, I guess I could buy another expensive PC for pinball streaming, but then I've got two expensive PCs for pinball streaming. I got the one running the game and I got the one capturing all the video. Expensive hobby. Dre Gott says, hey guys, good to see you. Dre Gott's a member of the channel. Hook 'em horns. That's what I think of when I see that. All right. Negative stuff gets more views. I like the new direction with Arcade Insiders. That is true. I mean, at the end of the day, YouTube is going to be YouTube, and a lot of what you find is going to be people trashing stuff because that's what people like to see. They think it's funny, it's entertaining. You know, it's getting back at the big companies that they feel like they were done wrong by. So a lot of that going on YouTube, absolutely. Papa Brad's Gaming says some people feel like they have to make a video every day. I don't have any reason to be unhappy with people making videos every day. If people are able to do that and they're able to manage their lives and, you know, do their day to day and take care of what they need to take care of, and they can still make a video every day, more power to them. You know, one person that comes to mind for me is PD7, Phil. Phil has been a friend of mine since I began YouTube. And over the last year or so, Phil and I have had less and less contact. And that has a lot to do with the fact that he does YouTube every single day. So he works a full-time job and then he gets off and he does YouTube. Like, that is his life outside of work. And, you know, there's some things that are good about that, but there's also some things that aren't. And I think, like, I'll just kind of mention, because I think I owe it to you guys to mention this. You know, Phil was supposed to come on well, for one, he was going to go to Pinball Expo, and then he was going to come on our channel as a guest. He had already fully committed to coming on as a guest to, you know, talk about Pinball Expo. Well, he ended up not making it because something came up, never learned why. It didn't matter. You know, he's got other important things going on. He couldn't make it to Pinball Expo. But then we came back from Chicago, and I reached out to him like, hey, we still got the stream lined up, right? We're still committed for the live stream, right? And he backs out and says, no, I'm too busy with YouTube. I do a video every day. Maybe sometime this winter, I'll get a break and I'll take a day off. And, you know, I'm not upset with him about that. I mean, I would like him to keep his word. I would like for him to follow through with things that he's committed to. But on the other hand, he's got a life to live. And if he wants to do that and spend his life that way, he can. I'm happy for him, right? So, you know, I think that, you know, people that do, just back to the point of you're making here, there's nothing wrong with people making videos every day. The only thing I would say, and PD7 came to mind, and the reason I brought up that he didn't feel that commitment is because I had told you guys, the audience, that he was going to come on. So it ended up making me look bad at the end of the day. So I just wanted to get the full story out there. And I also wanted to say I support him as a creator in what he's doing. I just wish he wouldn't make those commitments to put me in that position. That's all. Jabba says, drop your Pinball FX software down to 175 frames per second to 60 or 70. It will release a lot of graphics memory, dude. 70 is more than enough. And that's a good point, because when I had checked my graphics card stats for Pinball FX, I was running at like 170 frames per second, which there's no need for that, right? 60 will be plenty, you know? So I do need to figure that out and adjust that, open up some additional resources to be able to stream more efficiently. Absolutely. B. Kirby says, Phil's my guy. Yeah, he is a good guy. And at the end of the day, I don't think he means any harm by when he does that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't think he realizes it, right? Brad says that YouTube is his life. So that is his priority. He's going to put that first. I just wish he would, you know, when he makes commitments to people, that he follows through with that, or at least gives them some notice. Not make me reach out to him to find out if he's still coming, to find out he's not, you know, stuff like that. But he seems to be really successful. He's what he's doing, so keep it up, man. All right. Let's see here. So, At Games update. Zen Studios Pinball Pack price increases. So, this was a pretty big story last week. Basically, At Games is raising the price. So when does this kick in? It says starting November 1st. Oh, okay. That you can no longer buy your games online. You now have to buy them through the 4KP pinball machine starting November 1st. November 14th. So here in 5 days, we're going to see a large increase in the price of At Games software. So pretty much anything that they sell in their store, prices are going up. And the increase, I don't know. I don't think this article had stated what the increase will be. So I guess we'll have to find that out here next week. But definitely with the tariffs, with the economy, you know, companies are having to do a lot of maneuvering, right? They're having to, reevaluate their companies and how they operate, because of tariffs and things with the economy and how businesses are required to operate in America now. So every company, I would say, is raising rates, right? Even this website we're looking at right now, I got a message from my hosting provider that the rate for this hosting is going up after, you know, many, many years of the same rate. So it's everything. Oh, sorry about that, guys. It's everything is going up. So this is to be expected, but I'm wondering, you know, how high are, like, for instance, the Zen pinball tables going to go? Because with like the Zen pinball tables, we can compare those to what is on Steam, on Epic, on PlayStation, on Switch. You know, we've got a pretty good idea of what these games are valued at and what these tables are worth. So it's going to be interesting to see what is At Games going to do. How high are they going to make these prices? Because we've got something to compare it against. Now, they're in-house developed tables, like those At Games original tables. We don't know what they've spent developing those. We don't know, you know, what their licensing costs are, things like that. So they can really name their price on those tables, but they can't. They've got to work within like a range, I would say, with the Zen, because those are being sold elsewhere too. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. And, you know, I mean, it's just an additional cost. It's already an expensive product as it is, already paying more for pinball tables on At Games than you are elsewhere. So how much more is it going to be? And this is another reason why, like, I'm on the fence. Should I get the TMNT HD pinball? Because I've got, if I do and I buy it, I'm part of this ecosystem. I'm part of this environment of At Games now, where I have to deal with what they charge, you know, and I have to deal with their updates and all their issues and all that. So, you know, it's a commitment to like a company that has a lot of issues right now. Dre Gott says Neo Arcade News got the IT channel right now for the IKEA arcade community. Oh man. That's funny. I love the IKEA arcades, though. As you can see, I enjoy the ones I have. Burnt Oranges says his hosting provider almost pulled the plug. Oh, wow. Yeah. So there's even that could happen to my hosting provider. I'm actually surprised that they're going to be able to still be in business. You know, a lot of companies are being shut down because, like, especially small business. Steps Turbo says, do I need to start a website now? Is that the cool thing to do, Biggie? I'd started it a couple years ago when I started this channel because I've always had websites, like, since I can remember, since I was like 18 years old. Every little thing I've done, I've had a website for. So I was like, I'll make one for this. And it's just kind of grown, and I've put more and more into it over the years to where now we've got, you know, something pretty solid. And I feel like they've actually increased the speeds of the servers too. Like, you can see how quick everything's starting to load. It used to be like a year ago, this website was dreadfully slow, and it's not like that anymore. All right, so here's our Iconic Arcade XT games list. And this is kind of cool because we got like official word on what the actual games list will be. We're looking for fighting games: Street Fighter II World Warrior, Street Fighter II CE, Street Fighter II Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter II Turbo, Hyper Street Fighter II. So we've got 5 Street Fighter II games. We've got Street Fighter 3S. I don't know what that means. It's just Street Fighter 3, right? Oh, the 3S may mean all 3 versions of it. You have like the original Street Fighter 3. There's 3 different versions of the game, so that must mean what that's saying there. Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3. For action, so like our beat 'em up games, you're getting Final Fight, Captain Commando, and Knights of the Round. Solid beat 'em up collection. And then for shooting, like your shmups, you're getting Gigaween 2, Pro Gear 1944, The Loot Master. So you're getting 3 solid shmup games as well. And then extra games, question mark, coming soon. And that's his hint at, you know, the store we looked at last live stream, where it's going to have an actual like store that you can go purchase more games. And it'll be probably a collection of more Capcom games. And then maybe if he can pull off more licenses in the future, he'll add different, you know, developers, arcade games to that store. And then Bert Orange says the website is very retro in itself. Yeah, it's basic, not much to it. Very easy to get to where you need to get to, and also go with the darker theme. That's what I tend to do, like on my OS, on my computers. I'll go with like the dark theme. Nozapalooza says software doesn't get tariffed, right? It doesn't. But there's other factors going into AtGame's decision probably to raise those prices too. Like you have the machine, you have the hardware, the board, all that stuff going up in cost. So you have to counter those higher costs on the hardware and the parts and the machine itself by raising prices on like software, things that you can make some money on. That's what I think's happening. I don't know for a fact, though. Neo Arcade News says, I love IKEA, damn it. I'm a fan, right? I'll always love having these little arcades. Step says, we have every Street Fighter 2 except plain Super Street Fighter 2. Third Strike. Yep, Third Strike is your third one. I couldn't remember it offhand, thanks Nozapalooza. What was that second one? That was right in the middle. Can't remember. A year ago, you would have asked me this question. I would have had it immediately. But I've been waiting for a Street Fighter cabinet for so long, guys, like an XL Street Fighter cabinet, that I've kind of written it off. Like, I know this is coming, but I'm not, you know, following as closely or just, you know, studying it and learning it as much as I was a year ago, because I've waited so long for a Street Fighter 2 XL that never came, that I kind of forgot about it. And now this is coming, and it's like I'm not as excited about it because I've been waiting so freaking long for one of these. Man. But yeah, so that's our games list on the Iconic Arcade XT. So Walkabout Wednesdays. So this was 2 weeks ago. I played by myself, got a +1. I know a lot of people like in the chat probably don't even own a VR headset or may not like VR, or they just don't like mini golf. You know, I know there's not a huge amount of people in this community or people that love home arcade that do VR. But for me, I love VR, especially the mini golf. Really enjoy the mini golf, especially if you can get some people together. It's a great way to meet up and just have a good time, catch up with people, and have a little bit of fun. So I'm still going to be doing this every Wednesday. In fact, we had, and just to kind of get back to the mini golf here, I did Thursday, played by myself, but we actually had someone show up on Wednesday last week. So here it is, Around the World in 80 Days, and Steve Sell showed up. He's been meaning to come, and he's been reaching out to me saying he was going to make it, and he made it. And we had a great time. He won by 5 strokes. He's pretty good. He plays a lot, so hopefully he'll start making it every Wednesday, and we'll start getting a group together. You guys can play on your MetaQuest. You can play on your PSVR 2, or let's say you guys don't like VR. You just want to play it on like your cell phone. You can play it on a Google phone, like an Android, or an Apple phone. So definitely join us. It's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday, and the room will be Home Arcade. So we'll get back to Walkabout Wednesdays this upcoming Wednesday, and I hope more people make it because it's a lot of fun, guys. Basic fun email from the company. So we're going to go through this here in just a second. Burnt Oranges says, I thought Magic Sword was going to be a part of the Capcom game lineup as a bonus game for people. I did hear that as well. So don't know what's going on with that or that bonus game. Maybe we'll hear about that or get more confirmation on that closer to its release. Championship Edition would be, bringing up like the Games List Champion Edition. Mike Hawkert says, I might be the weird one, but I'm actually picking up the SpongeBob Claw Machine. Have a bunch of nephews looking forward to it, but I think I'm most excited. The Claw Machine's cool. Like, I think we talked about that last stream in detail, and we may look at some images tonight of it for our holiday deals and Black Friday, because I'm sure that one's going to go on sale. But yeah, I think it's a great claw machine. Like the artwork looks really good. I've always kind of liked SpongeBob myself. It's been a large part of my family because my sister was huge into SpongeBob growing up. So I've watched the show a lot, played a lot of the video games over the years. So I think it's a great claw machine. And that basic, just plain Jane, generic claw machine that came out before it, I didn't like that much at all, other than the functionality of it. But this one I like because it's got the artwork. It is a little bit smaller, but that's good too. I think if you're going to have a claw machine, if it takes up a little less room and you can put a booster on it as long as it's tall enough, then that's okay. It doesn't have to be super wide. Tomato says, Walkabout is so good. And I know Tomato Sauce has joined me for 1 or 2 weeks since I started the Walkabout Wednesdays. And Jabba says, the Magic Pixel have released 6 new tables in the last 2 weeks. I can add them to my Platinum Pack for European $6.12. That's 60% off OTG, these at-games EPs, guys. Virtual Pen doing OTG. Neo's answering the question on Magic Sword. He says Magic Sword wasn't officially listed, but extra games are hinted at. So that's probably that extra game from what we're hearing. And Step says, will the claw machine work with adult toys? LOL. All right. I'll leave that there. Basic fun email from the company. So this was basically just talking about the firmware update. Says, sorry to hear you guys are having an issue with the firmware update. We can definitely help you. So some people, I guess, can do the firmware update we had talked about that will allow you to do the moves that you need to be able to do. It also apparently we're going to talk about here in a second, put Macho Man back in the game. But it's, so I guess certain people are having issues updating or doing the firmware update. So here's their response. It says, we can definitely help you. I can send you a return slip for you to ship back your board to us for us to do the firmware for you, or I'm getting new boards in next week or the week after and can ship a new one to you. I would have you send yours back to me that time as well. So it sounds like you can either ship them your board, they'll do the firmware update, or you can wait, which is probably now at this point already available. You can get a replacement. So that's great. They're communicating with everybody, all the customers. They're fixing the issues. They seem to be like really helpful and wanting to help people. So that's really good. It says here, rest assured that your game will work well, just not the one move and the Jim Duggan name appearance at the top when fighting Hulk Hogan. So there's other little things that they're working on too with the basic fun cabinet. But good news is they're fixing everything, right? All the issues they're fixing. They're doing something very well that Arcade 1 Up never did, and that was communicate with everyone, you know, sending out communications, responses to issues. So that's great news. And also the fact that they're willing to replace boards that are having issues. So that's good. You know, a lot of really good things coming out of Basic Fun right now. It seems like right out the gate, they may have, you know, cut some corners, maybe missed a few things, but they're making up for it by making it right. So great to see. Now talking about, you know, the WrestleFest and these updates, evidently there was a person on, this was a Facebook group, Basic Fun Facebook group. He says he successfully installed the new update on his Counter Series WrestleFest, and he was playing Superstars, and he had noticed that Macho Man Randy Savage is back in the game. Now, this isn't like a selectable character, guys, so you're not going to be able to play as him, but he is in the game. You can play against him. So I thought that was really cool. This is definitely going to be a mistake. I don't think that Basic Fun got the license for Macho Man that I know of, because if they did, he would be playable. The fact that he just shows up means that they probably missed this, and I don't know what the fallout's going to be from that. Like, are they going to get in trouble, or are they going to end up having to pay for the license now that they maybe were not going to pay for originally now? Who knows? But wouldn't it be great if they could get him fully into the game where you could play him and select him as a character? I think that would be really good news. It also begs the question too, are they going to be bringing the other characters, you know, like Andre the Giant? Is he going to make it into the game? You know, that would be really good, because he's a big part of that Superstars cutscene. Having him in the game would be great. And then what was it on the WrestleFest? We were missing the Legion of Doom. If we could get Legion of Doom in there, would be really big, I think. Now, this I thought was huge, guys. This X-Arcade Viper board, because I'm a X-Arcade owner, and I'm playing most of my X-Arcade through my PC, but I also bought the PS3 adapter so I could hook up my PS3. Also liking like the videos that KevGret has been putting out recently, talking about how you can do a firmware update to your X-Arcade, and you can now play Switch on the X-Arcade. So I think that's really cool. But what's even better is just getting like a dedicated board for the X-Arcade where you can run like a full list of arcade games from it. And that's going to be the Viper board. And Glenn, and this has been a while, right? He announced this a long time ago, like when X-Arcade first kind of hit the scene there, arcade to TV XR. And I'd asked Glenn about it a couple times, and he didn't really know or have an answer on when this thing was going to be available. But this hit this week. Says the X-Arcade Viper is ready to ship, and the details are coming soon. So really good to hear that, because I'm definitely interested in getting one of these for my X-Arcade. And it'll probably be reasonable. If you guys know anything about Glenn and his GRS products, they're reasonably priced, very inexpensive. So I imagine this thing will probably be in the price range of like 70 to $100. So I'll definitely have to pick one of these up. No doubt about it. And it's just going to kind of mount, I think, like right behind the X Arcade, so you won't even see it, and it'll be just like a dedicated board to play your games on. Now, talking about the SpongeBob claw machine, Mike Hawkhurst was talking about this one. There were some measurements, right, that had come in, and this is thanks to James Hates Everything and Gamer Fridge, which I actually linked James Hates Everything YouTube channel here for you guys. But looks like you're under 19 inches wide on the SpongeBob, where if you have the full size, like the generic one that came out before it, it's over 22 inches wide. So you're definitely going to lose some size. It looks like, you know, Arcade 1-Up is definitely going slimmer. They're going smaller for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's a logistics thing in which they would just want to save money on shipping, on transportation cost, on shelf space for the retailers, all that. So everything is getting smaller. Like any and every design that they have, they're trying to shrink them down. And again, that's happening with the claw machine. But with the claw machine, I don't think it's a big deal. In fact, you know, the width, having less width is actually a good thing. You can fit more arcades into your game room. And a claw machine doesn't have a screen, so you don't really need it to be super wide, just enough room to have that claw come down and grab something. Neo Arcade News says, at Mike Hawkhurst, the claw machine is a ton of fun for families. And that's what I was thinking too. I kind of want to get one just for myself a little bit, but I was thinking to myself, if I had children, it would be a 100%, no question, I would be buying this, because it would be kind of something I would a little bit enjoy, being a home arcade product, but it'd also be something the kids and like younger audiences can definitely enjoy as well. So you're getting a lot of value out of like one product with this, and it appeals to a very wide range of people and ages. Papa Brad says, I am playing Devil Riders Deluxe right now, Jabba. Very cool. I saw your gaming, your shorts, and you're always posting the games you're playing. I saw Shinobi today, Papa Brad, on your ALU. All right, so this has been big. Like this week, like if you guys have noticed, like I haven't been like in a lot of the live streams. That's kind of two-part, right? One, there's quite a few live streams I'm not allowed to like chat anymore. Like for whatever reason, like the creators just decided they don't want Biggie D's Arcade chatting in their chat anymore. So what I've been doing, instead of watching those streams like I used to do, because if you guys know me well, I'm like big part of the week trying to watch live streams and be in the chat. Since I'm not able to do that on a lot of these now, I'm playing Luna. So I've got a Amazon Prime membership, and they've had this like Luna cloud service for gaming for a while now. But every time I check it, the games are pretty crappy. They're not anything really that great or worth playing. Well, all of a sudden this month, they dropped Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on Luna. And this is a game I was highly interested in getting. I actually wanted to get it for my PlayStation, but it's an expensive game. And I wasn't going to, probably going to pick it up eventually, but it'd be like a Black Friday purchase. But rather than wait for Black Friday, I went ahead and got a chance to play it early here on Luna for free with just my Amazon Prime membership. And I was a little bit worried about playing it like in a cloud-based environment like this, because like I've used the Steam, like Steam has like a cloud service, right, where you can stream your gaming PC to like another PC and do it that way. And then there's been other cloud gaming services I've used in the past. Well, bottom thing I was trying to get to here, to get to the bottom of what I was trying to say, is that the cloud services have not been a great experience for me. Mostly it's been a lot of lag and just not that great, right? But I haven't played like a cloud-based gaming service or a streaming game in a long time. It's been several years since I've even given it a shot. Well, when I loaded this game up, and granted, I did have it on an Ethernet connection when I was playing it, but I was playing it on just like a very cheap PC, didn't even have a graphics card on it, just something that I used to surf the internet with. And I loaded this game up on it, and it played amazing. It played just like I had the console there right under my TV. It was amazing how well it played. I didn't even notice that I was playing it through the internet at all. And the graphics looked amazing too. Like they don't like tone down the graphics at all. Like you're playing them on like the highest settings. So everything looks really good too. And there's no lag. There's no dip in frame rate. None of that, because you're playing it over this cloud service. And man, this is just such a great game, guys. It is so fun. Like the story is so easy to follow and just entertaining to follow, because it's like watching an Indiana Jones movie. And the graphics are so good on this. Like everything just looks so good. And the gameplay is really fun too. Like they got you doing all kinds of really cool stuff in the game, like side missions and combat and stealth and all kinds of really cool stuff that they've put into this game. And I've really been enjoying it. Every once in a while, I'll get my hands on a good game like this, and I'll play it all the way through, and it'll be a memory I have for the rest of my life. And there's probably, you know, I can count on two hands how many games have been like that in my lifetime. And a lot of those were Resident Evil games, but there's others too. And this one is kind of hitting that same feeling that I get with those other ones that I remember very well, that I just got really into. And this is one of those games that I just really got deep into the story of it, the gameplay of it, and have really been enjoying coming back to it and want to beat it as soon as I can so I can get on to the DLC. Carl O had told me actually in a post that, or a chat, that the DLC is already out. So I'll have to hurry up and beat this so I can get into that. But this is a great game. This is a Bethesda game too. And if you guys know anything or you're a fan of Bethesda, a lot of their games follow like a similar style in the way they play and the way the game flows. And, you know, whether that be Oblivion or Skyrim or Fallout, you know, they all kind of have even though they're very different games, they all kind of have a similar feeling to them. And even though this is Indiana Jones and it is full out 100% Indiana Jones, it still has that Bethesda feel to it. And I've really enjoyed playing it. He has sounded exactly like Indiana Jones. Yep. They did a really good job with the voiceover work for sure. Wish I had a PS5. There are some Marvel bangers coming out. Yeah, I wish I had more time, because I am like a real big console gamer too, just as much as I'm into like the home arcade stuff and more recently with virtual pinball and VR. I'm a console gamer too, and I have been my whole life. And like I said, there's just those certain games that you'll come across that just draw you in, and it's just such a joy to play. And then when you get through the final ending of the game, it's like that memory will last forever. You'll never forget those games. And I feel like this one is, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't say that for sure, but I feel like it's giving me those vibes already. All right, so we did do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So our October pinball tournament was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We voted, actually, I put out a poll and everyone voted for this one. And we did it towards the end of October because I wanted it to land right around Halloween. It actually ended the day before Halloween. But we had a pretty good turnout. I was a little bit worried there for a moment because last live stream, it was only me and one other person. It was like me and Arcade Talk. But we ended up getting a pretty good turnout after I had mentioned it on the live stream. We ended up having 9 people and amused to death. If you guys know who Gregory is, he won the tournament with 35,302,000. took first place. Papa Brad took second with 32,523,000. Sacro got third. He won Jaws last month, or the month before last. He got third with 20 million. And then I'm there at the very bottom with my little 4.8 million there in last place. But that's okay. I just enjoy pinball. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest. Like I'm getting better. I feel like I'm getting better. But it's hard to compete with some of these people. You got to understand a lot of these guys, like Sacro, Papa Brad, Amused to Death, these guys play every day, every week, and they're highly active in tournaments. And this is like what they love, what they do all the time. So it's very tough competition. And hopefully over time I'll get a little bit better to where I can compete more and more. But I just enjoy the games. I enjoy organizing the tournaments. I enjoy seeing who the winners are at the end. So Gregory will get his placement here on the website for October. And then there's our final leaderboard shot. So if you guys ever come to here and you see that it says first here with the guy's name, click on it. It'll open up the actual image of the actual leaderboard from the game as well that you can check out. So we don't have Gregory in the chat tonight, but I keep up with him pretty often, like through Facebook messaging and through his Facebook group, Calling All Ballers. So congratulations, man. It was cool to see you win this month. I will put out a poll for, what are we in November now? So I'll put out a poll probably here in the next few days asking everyone which table they want to do for the month of November. I originally was going to just kind of make like a call on this and just kind of pick my own table. And I was going to pick Scared Stiff because I've really been enjoying the Scared Stiff a lot. But I think I just want to leave it up to y'all, the audience, to the viewers on which game you guys want to play. I think that's the best way of going about it. Just allows people to have their say on it, and also hopefully more people will join because of that. So we'll put out a community post poll here very soon. You guys can let us know which table you want to see. I'll put 4 tables in there. Definitely going to make sure Scared Stiff is an option. Party Monsters. And then I'll throw in a couple other random ones in there. And we'll see which ones everyone picks. So we did get news that the Marvel Cosmic Invasion game. So if you guys have been keeping up with this beat 'em up Marvel game, it's going to be hitting on December 1st. So here in about 3 weeks, if you guys have been waiting to get this, it's not long now. December 1st, you'll be able to get that. I did play the demo on my At Games Legends Ultimate. It's an awesome beat 'em up game, guys. You're gonna love it. If you guys like the X-Men beat 'em up or Punisher or TMNT, you know, all those Simpsons, you're gonna love this beat 'em up game because it brings back so many vibes of those old, early 90s beat 'em up games, but with a more modern twist and feel to it. And you got a big selection of Marvel characters to choose from too. They filled out the roster really well. So this was, I think, headline news for today was going to be this arcade 1-up KITH Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. And this I thought was pretty big news, guys, for a few reasons. One, it kind of shows that Arcade 1-up still has the Marvel vs. Capcom license. So even though Iconic Arcade is doing Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom is still owned and controlled by Arcade 1-up. And I think as long as they are continuing to put these out, whether they're collaboration cabinets or they do them all on their own, it's allowing them to keep their license. So that's one part of it. And then another part of it is I think that their MVC2 cabinet was always one of their best selling. So they probably did pretty well last year with the KITH collab. Obviously they did because they're doing it again this year. This is the final product. And it looks like they've gone with the ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 artwork for this. So even though this is a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 game, they're using the ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 artwork for this one, guys. So let me bring up some images here and you guys will be able to see that or see the similarities. Let's see if I can find a good image here that matches that. Here we go. So this is the these are the art and the characters that you're going to be getting on the side art for this KITH collab, which is fine. I mean, it is a Marvel vs. Capcom game, even though it doesn't have 3 on there. I'm a big fan of this artwork. It's also very similar to that Capcom versus SNK artwork. But you can see it. It's the same. So that's where they're getting that from. I don't know if we've heard anyone say that yet. So I may be like maybe the first person to either notice that or say that, not sure. But I'm a pretty big fan of Marvel vs. Capcom. I've always owned all the games. I've always played them all. And I own one, so kind of speak from experience on these. But I like the marquee. The marquee looks really good. And we're going to get a really good shot of that marquee here in a moment. I think everything looks really great on this cabinet. The only thing is it's $900. It's very, very expensive. So definitely out of my price range. But if I could get one of these for $500, man, that would be a steal because this looks good. And it looks like they've upgraded some parts on it as well. We're about to look at the controls on this. So here's a front-on shot of it. I like the Ryu and the Wolverine there in the front. I think it looks really good what they did with this. Let's take a look here at the side. So here's our side panel. You got Mega Man, you got the claws from Wolverine. I love how they did that. How they have those claws coming out at you there towards the top. And then you got the Ryu doing the fireball there. You got Cammy there in the lower left. And then who is this going to be? You only get an arm. I don't know who that's going to be there. And then let's take a look here at the other side. So this is going to be a cabinet in which they do 2 different side panel artwork. So you're going to get 2 different versions of artwork on each side. So you're going to get Spider-Man, Iron Man, the rest of Ryu, and the rest of Wolverine. And it looks like a little bit of Hulk in there, just his arm. So looking good. I'm liking it. And then now we're going to get some close-up shots of the control panel. And I feel like the control panel looks really good. It's got that diamond plate. And, you know, if you guys remember, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I was talking about how Iconic Arcade cannot do the diamond plate. They had to go back to that graphite look because my theory was that Arcade 1UP prevented them. And that was a lot of what that cease and desist was about. And I had brought up that the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 X-Men 97 was still being sold and that Arcade 1UP still controlled that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 license. That was 2 weeks ago when I'd said that. And here we are. Diamond plate. So this is what they pushed for and wanted to make sure Iconic Arcade did not have the rights to this, that Arcade 1UP does. And man, this looks good. I love what they did with that diamond plate, with that coloring. And then even on the front where that KITH logo is, it has that really good looking texture to it. And then they went with these buttons, guys. These look like light up buttons. You can't tell if they're lit up or not from this because it's hard to tell. But it appears to me that these are going to be light up buttons. And they're not concave, they're going to be convex, which I prefer. So that's good. Now I did notice the on and off switch are same. Volume switch is the same, but then you've got this other little switch in the upper left. Looks like you can turn the marquee on and off, guys. Holy crap. That's new. We don't have that button in the upper left on any of our Arcade 1UPs, do we? I know Neo Arcade News would know. So that may be a new button they've added to where you can actually, it appears, maybe turn off the marquee. I guess some people like playing the arcade without the marquee on because maybe it distracts or it takes away from the screen in some way. So now you're able to turn it off. Very cool. And I think this is going to be the highlight of this cabinet right here, guys. This marquee looks incredible. Even though it's got the KITH logo there under the bottom, I wish it didn't. Everything else looks awesome. Like, I love the hand-drawn artwork with the color tone to it there. And then you've got that globe with those, like, everything kind of blowing out of it there, like it's exploding. And the Marvel vs. Capcom logo, everything's looking really good on that marquee, guys. I like this. I'm interested to see what this cabinet looks like in person. Now, am I going to pay $900 for this? Heck no. Heck no. But for those that get it, I think it's going to be awesome. They're going to like it. It's a great game. With the updates they've done to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it actually plays pretty decent online now. Not perfect, but it plays pretty decent. And it's a good game still. It's fun to play. It's got a good games list. I don't see any reason why Arcade1Up can't continue to pump out these MVC2 cabinets, year after year. Just, they did X-Men 97 and KITH last year. Looks like they're doing KITH. What else are they going to do with this license? Like, they're probably going to do their own version of MVC2. What is Arcade1Up going to do with that? There was no X-Men 97 this year, so I don't know. That's a good question on what they're going to be doing with this license for their own cabinet that they put out. And right offhand, I can't think of anything. We had the Wolverine versus Deadpool movie, or Deadpool versus Wolverine movie last year, which was really big. What Marvel movie do we have coming this year that's really big? Oh, Avengers Doomsday. So I wonder if they'll do like an Avengers Doomsday like skin or something. I don't know. That'd be interesting. We'll see what Arcade1Up ends up deciding to do with that license. So then there was also this other KITH news of a Hyper Megatech Super Pocket. So I thought this was pretty cool too, guys. I've not bought one of these Hyper Megatechs, or I don't own an Evercade product yet. But this is a Capcom, which they've already produced a Capcom Super Pocket. So it's going to basically be the same games list from the previous one. It actually doesn't even have Marvel vs. Capcom on this little handheld, but it does have the KITH artwork. And it's the same games list as the previous Capcom, I believe. But did Mega Man come on the previous one? I don't think it did. So maybe they did add Mega Man to it. So they're also doing a Hyper Megatech KITH edition, which is new. And then if we go here, they put out this post. It says KITH partners with Hyper Megatech to produce the Capcom Edition Super Mega Pocket or Super Pocket handheld gaming device, updated with KITH monogram artwork and 12 Capcom preloaded onto your system. And it looks like you can enter a drawing to exclusively on the KITH app to maybe win one of these. Let's see, we got any other pictures? Okay, yeah. So it looks like it's going to be the same games list as the previous one, just with this artwork. So that's some Evercade news for you Evercade fans out there. All right, so that's going to pretty much wrap up the news that's listed on the website, guys. So what I want to do for the last segment here and for the rest of our live stream tonight is I want to go over holiday deals, like leading up to Black Friday. Which cabinets can we expect to be discounted? Which ones are going to be available? And which companies are going to be partaking in like Black Friday deals this year? And I think we always got to go with Arcade1Up. Arcade1Up is always going to be a big player in like the Black Friday deal shopping. Now, last year was kind of a dud last year because they were going through so many changes as a company. But now that they're getting back to their true form, they're producing cabinets again on a pretty regular basis. Even though they're not what we want, they're probably making some money again. So I would foresee some deals. Like this SpongeBob, which is currently available at, where is it? It's at Costco, right? Or is it at Sam's? It's at Costco. So at Costco, this is going for $599.99. I would probably say a good markdown price for this is going to be $4.99. So look for SpongeBob SquarePants Claw Machine here in a couple weeks for $100 off. Terminator 2 Deluxe Arcade Machine. This is not like readily available in store. Looks like you can order it through Amazon, and it says it's available in store at Walmart, but I have not seen any in store at Walmart yet. But the fact that it says that here means that there probably is a shipment of these going to Walmart this year for Christmas. So we may see these in store, and I would say again, probably a good safe price to expect will be $4.99 on the Terminator 2 Deluxe for Black Friday. Now the big buck, Mossy Oak, is pretty much available at a lot of places right now. You can get it where it's Sam's. You can get it at Best Buy. So there's a couple of retailers there. Like here, I can get it at Best Buy around me. So this one, again, it's going to kind of be pretty consistent because they're all $5.99, $4.99 on the big buck Mossy Oak. This Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe is $4.99. I think we've seen this Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe as low as $3.99 before. I don't think we're going to get a $3.99, unfortunately, but I definitely would expect a $50 discount on this one. And this will probably be like a Arcade 1-Up advertised Black Friday deal for $4.50, which they'll send out an email for, and you can probably get it anywhere at that price. Same with these Pac-Man Deluxe cabinets. I expect those to be $4.50. NBA Jam $4.50. I would say expect an email from Arcade 1-Up that's going to have Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe, Class of 81, NBA Jam, Pac-Man, all $4.50. I can already picture it now. The Arcade 1-Up claw machine, this generic one, I don't even know if they're going to be selling these anymore. It says you can order it at Walmart, but I think they're probably going to be phasing these out. So wouldn't expect much there. And then we already know the Infinity game boards and tables, they're clearancing those out. Those are going bye-bye. The Golden Tee I've been seeing around, like Sam's has it. Also, it looks like these other major retailers have it. This one, I don't foresee. It's already at $4.99. Maybe this one also hits that $50 off, so you may be able to get this one at $4.50 as well. Talking about like that Arcade 1-Up promotion that they're going to send out, which will be $50 off across the board. They may include this one in there as well. The Fast and the Furious, they just started re-upping these. So I would imagine $100 off on the Fast and Furious, $4.99. And the Time Crisis, I'm surprised, is still listed on their website because this isn't like a readily available cabinet. It says I can pick it up, probably special order it through Best Buy and maybe pick it up there. But I don't foresee any savings at all on Time Crisis. I'm actually very much surprised that it's still listed on their website. But look at their reviews on this. So maybe they're planning on re-upping these, doing like a mass order of these, and getting these out to retail maybe early next year, because that's one of their good ones. Let's see what the chat's saying here about these Black Friday deals that I just ran through pretty quick for Arcade 1-Up. Burnt Oranges says the online most of the arcade one-ups have helps you feel connected to the community, in my opinion, even if it's just for scores. Yes, I agree. Like even if it's Pac-Man having the leaderboard, I just think that adds a lot to it, because like if I put a bunch of time and effort into a score and it gets tracked onto a leaderboard, that is just a little bit more rewarding and keeps me a little more engaged in the game if it has that online connectivity. So I'm hopeful Basic Fun will be able to do some online leaderboards, online play in the future, hopefully. Turtles by At Games. Thor KK is here and saying, I don't hate the artwork, but I also don't care about the side art nearly as much as I care about the marquee. No, I'd seriously consider it unless it was under 300. I think still talking about the Marvel versus Capcom on that one. Devastator Omega says, not buying anything this year on my end. I'm not seeing any deals that catch my eye. I don't think it's going to be a huge year for deals, but there's going to be a few. There's probably going to be one or two really great deals out there that we'll have to keep an eye on and that we'll want to be aware of. You know, I think those are going to happen. Just it'll be few and far between, and we'll have to be ready. B. Kirby says maybe $50 off. Any arcade one-up cab, SpongeBob might be $100 off. That's what I'm thinking. SpongeBob will probably get $100 off. Slim Katie should have a Slim Katie price. Less material, less cost. I agree. Papa Brad's Gaming is saying X Arcade with a big TV is better than any of these. Yes, I would 100% recommend you guys get the X Arcade, get a nice TV for it, and have that in addition to your home arcades. Such a great way to play arcade games. I agree. So that is our arcade one up. Like those are the ones that I think are going to be deals, right? But let's look here, because I came across some images on the arcade one up Reddit that I wanted to share with you guys. Here we are. And I thought I added this to the website earlier, but I guess I didn't. So we've got the Pac-Man Neon, and this is at Sam's Club. So this one I think is $4.99. This one will probably get $50 off for Black Friday. And then you've got the Mossy Oak there at Sam's as well. I would expect probably $100 off on that Mossy Oak because it's $5.99 right now. So that is good to see these products back in store and to see multiple products. And like, for instance, Sam's right now. Sam's is carrying quite a bit of stuff, home arcade stuff, arcade one up, At Games. You know, they've got a lot available right now. Here's a pretty cool one. This is a Mortal Kombat 2 in store. I don't even know what store this is. It looks like they have the Atari, that new handheld, and they've got it right there on the floor. What is it? Is this Sam's too? Or is this Costco? I can't tell. But $4.99. So, like, wouldn't it be great to be able to like get one of these big box store memberships and get like the Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe for $3.99? I don't foresee that, but it could happen. I foresee more of like a $50 off for that one. And I see this one more as like a arcade one up promoted offer, like not like a Sam's or a Costco deal. It'll just be like across the board for any retailer will get $50 off on these type of arcades. And let's see, anything else going on the Reddit page? Oh yeah, so this is where we were talking about the KITH. This is where it had actually originated, was a couple days ago. These images had dropped. So it's actually been on the Reddit now for, even though it's kind of really hitting YouTube today, it's been on the Reddit for a couple days now. And let's see, anything else that, I mean, we've been seeing a ton of these images, haven't we? Of these claw machines in store. That's a good image too. It's a big image. Get a lot of detail on that one. All right, so that was the Reddit. Now I want to look at Basic Fun. going into Black Friday. Basic Fun's going to probably be, even though they're really new, right? They just got on their feet in this market. I do see them taking advantage of some Black Friday deals, offering something. Whether it be like a huge discount, I don't know, but it'll be something. So let's take a look here at the Basic Fun Amazon site. Here it is. Basic Fun is listed on Amazon. Click here. And we're still waiting on this Return of the Jedi. The Return of the Jedi still has not showed up yet, so I don't know what the huge holdup is on that, but I think it's going to be any day now that that'll be available. So here's your pricing. Right now, they're all full price across the board. But like the WrestleFest for Black Friday, the Centipede, those two I would expect $4.99, probably $100 off. I think Basic Fun really needs to do $100 off to really push a good Black Friday for them. Would be a sizable discount like that. For the countercades, those are coming in at $249. I would think that these are probably going to be $199. But if they really wanted to make like a big splash this Black Friday and have like the whole home arcade community talking about them and having tons of videos about them, I would get this down to $149. That would really boost a lot of interest, I think, in Basic Fun this holiday season if they were able to get the countercade down to $150. Now, do I think that they're going to be able to do that? I don't think that they will. But I would like to see that. And I think that would be a big move for them to be able to get that price. So I'm looking at the Reddit page right now for Basic Fun. The deck protectors are really big because, of course, the Basic Fun cabinets did not come with the deck protector. And we're so used to having them on our Arcade 1-Up that it feels kind of weird to not have one. Even if the artwork is rub resistant or rub free, it is still kind of weird not to have that deck protector. So I'm right there with everyone else. Like if I end up picking up one of these cabinets, I'm definitely going to be getting the deck protector like day one. No doubt about it. And here's a Neo Hyper talking about the Return of the Jedi not being a slim Katie. That was one subject I did not touch on tonight. But basically, a lot of people were speculating that the Return of the Jedi was going to be this real slim, small cabinet. It's actually a little bit bigger than the other ones they produced. So it is not. And if we open this up, I'm sure Neo's got us covered with this. Yeah, he does. So we can see here 18 inches wide, 18.75 inches wide on the original. The Basic Fun, when I say original Arcade 1-Up, or actually this isn't even the original. This is the version 2 that they came out with later on. So I guess I should call this the version 2 Arcade 1-Up Star Wars, was 18.75 inches. Theirs is actually going to be wider at 18.98 inches. So it's actually going to be wider. And it's actually going to be quite a bit deeper. It goes from 20 inches deep to 23.98 inches. So we're looking at almost 4 inches more depth with the Return of the Jedi. It's actually much larger, like dimension-wise, than I thought. The height, 60.8 on the V2 Star Wars from Arcade 1-Up, 61.5 on the Basic Fun. So about a half an inch taller too. And look at the marquee, guys. I think the marquee is what really sticks out to me. Now, granted, I do love the Arcade 1-Up cut, like the mold. It just matches the original so well. I love what they did with the Arcade 1-Up Star Wars, but the marquee on the Basic Fun Star Wars is what really pops for me. It's much bigger, it looks really good. Looks like the colors are really starting to pop on that Return of the Jedi marquee. I hope that these renders end up like being reality, because like we thought that with the WrestleFest, and the WrestleFest was a little bit washed out on the marquee. So I don't want to say, 100% that this marquee is going to be amazing and you're going to love it. But from these images, I definitely does appear that it looks really good. So cannot wait for these to hit market so we can start getting a better idea of what these are going to look like, how they're going to play, and what people thought about them that did pick them up. All right, so I guess that's it on the basic fun. Let's talk about, so you got some, they don't have a huge product line, right? So 100 off on the, what are we calling these? They got the Countercade, the Ultra Series, and the Supreme. So 100 off on the Ultra Series, probably 50 off on the Countercade. I say they need to be at 100 off to really make a splash this Black Friday, but I don't think they'll get there. And then on the Supreme, we still don't have any Supreme cabinets. I think the Supreme cabinets are going to be early next year. So they're holding off on those a little bit. Now, what's left for Black Friday, right? You got Unico. Unico's not a in-store retail driven product. It's not meant for retail. It's like a direct consumer product. So that's not even going to be in play, I don't think, for Black Friday at all. And there hasn't been really much interest in the Unico Nova Blast. Very few people have been picking up the Nova Blast. So it hasn't had a very good reception. Not like I thought it was. The Candy Cab is just not a big product here, I don't think. Didn't really catch on like I thought it was. So Unico, not much going on for them. Basic Fun Arcade went up. We covered At Games. So At Games, we've known about this for weeks now. We covered it last stream. $9.99 on the TMNT pinball. I do imagine that they'll probably do some money off on the At Games Legends Ultimate that they have at Sam's. They'll probably do like 50 or 100 off on that. So if you've been waiting to get an At Games Legends Ultimate and you want to get one, Black Friday will probably be the time to pick one up. And I would say get this new one because it's got the new UI system. And it's a great cabinet. I love my ALU, even though I don't play it as much as I did before when, before I had my II Arcade, I still do play it. And like that new beat 'em up game, that Cosmic Invasion beat 'em up game that's coming out December 1st, I played that demo on my At Games Legends Ultimate. And that's huge, having that OTG to be able to do that. And then they have the micro pinball. That one will probably have, I've seen some really good deals on that one, like $325, $350. Probably be able to pick one of those up for a really good deal this year. And then what else we got for At Games? The 4KP line. So those are available at retail at like Kohl's and places like that. And I've seen it as low as $1,500 recently. Maybe they get like that Addams Family Premium Starter at Kohl's down to like $13.99. Maybe $1,400. Let's take a look at that one really quick. That listing, the At Games 4KP Kohl's listing. Now, keep in mind, these are not available in store. Now, you have to get these like on the website. And it's showing out of stock right now. So surprising they're out of stock. Maybe Kohl's is not going to be carrying any more At Games stuff. They still have the Legends Ultimate and they still have the Micro. But they do not have the 4KP listed anymore. Interesting. I wonder if Kohl's is getting out of the At Games. So here's your like, if you were to search 4KP, here's what's coming up. Sam's $14.99 4KP Addams Family. I would say this is probably $13.99 for Black Friday. I think that would be a smart price for At Games to go down to. That way people will have enough incentive to get into one. If they've waited this long to get a 4KP, maybe that'll push them over and make them pull the trigger for that. Sam's Club also has the 4KP Jurassic Park Premium Starter for $17.58. That's not a very good deal. And then Sam's Club $13.18. I think these prices here are like if you don't have a Sam's Club membership, and you just want to go on their website and buy it, you pay a little bit higher premium for that. So you're paying that, what, $18.90 extra on the TMNT if you just want to buy it through their website without a Sam's Club membership. But again, this one will be $9.99. This is the one I have my eye on. But as of late, over the last day or two, I've really kind of backtracked on that. And I'm thinking my X Arcade may fulfill all I need for my virtual pinball. And maybe I should save my funds for that Star Wars Home Edition pinball. Because I think that's really what I'm going to be truly happy with overall. Don't see it listed here. Oh, this is Sam's Club. I got to go to Costco. So Costco, Stern, Home Edition, pinball, Star Wars. Here it is. Come on. Wow. Look at that price. $7,300 is what they're saying. And they say that's the new lower price. I don't know where they're getting that from, because these things are selling in store for $5,000. We've seen them as low as $3,000. Not by me. They've been holding around $4,800, I think, around me. But if, you know, around Black Friday or maybe after Black Friday, they decide to, you know, clearance these out, just to get them out the door. You know, I want to be there ready to go when that happens, because they may only have one or two to be sold at that price. So you're going to just have to be there at the right time in order to be able to get one. So maybe I need to start getting, now that we're getting closer to Black Friday, maybe I need to pick up a Sam's Club membership and a Costco membership, and like on Saturday, start going up there and just doing a little like pre-gaming on these machines and just kind of getting a feel for the stores and where they're located and which stores have what. And that way I'm ready to go when I'm ready to buy. Because this Christmas, I'm going to get something for myself, something big, and it's going to be a pinball machine. I just don't know if it's going to be the At Games or it's going to be this Stern. And there's really a lot of factors playing into that. One, the price has to go low enough on the Stern. It also has to be available for me to get to it in time at that price. So there's a lot of factors that have to work out for that to happen. For the At Games, really, I just have to show up and hand them my $1,000 and I take home what I want. I don't think there's going to be a huge rush of people to get to the store to get that At Games TMNT for $9.99. I don't see that. So if I want it, it'll be there. And I think what my plan is going to be this Black Friday is to really heavily try and shop that Stern Star Wars. And if I can't get it as a fallback, maybe get that TMNT. But still not fully sold on it yet. Devastator says, agree, X Arcade is the best value to buy. Neo Arcade News says, someone didn't know which way the ghosts stand. LOL. The ghosts are upside down. Let's see. Oh, we got a super chat. There's quite a bit of chats that came through during the Black Friday discussion there. I'm going to have to kind of skip ahead, guys. I'd love to read every single chat here if I could. B. Kirby says 1 1/5 inch taller and 4 inches deep and a little wider for the Return of the Jedi. I like it. Step says, did they steal Glenn's yoke design too? I don't know. We have not heard yet on this design what it's going to be like yet. So we'll have to see when this thing comes out. Neo says it is a new yoke and that was part of the delay. It had to dial it in correctly. So they were getting it perfect before it shipped. Sounds like they've got that figured out now. Very cool. And then Papa Brad has modded his with the Star Wars trilogy. I love those videos. He's got a great setup on his Star Wars arcade one up that he modded. B. Kirby says, I never thought I would buy anything from an At Games, but I picked up the Micro for $325. I really like that little pinball machine. Maybe that's the answer. If I want to get into the At Games, you know, world, of pinball tables. Maybe I just need to get that micro and be done with it. Papa Brad's Gaming, huge $5 super chat saying I did a week 1 deal video where I share the exact prices of every game on the Turtles pinball. That is awesome. Thank you so much for the $5, Papa Brad. I'll have to go check out those videos and see what all that's about. Find out what deals are out there for at games. And let's run a video for Papa Brad for sending over that 5. So Step said something interesting. She says At Games is moving only to the new HD pinball from what I understand, and the 4K is dead. I don't know about that. That would be hard to believe if At Games gave up on the 4K, because even though it didn't sell as well as they expected, and even though it was a little too expensive and a little too premium for their customer base, like overall, I thought, it still has a need, and I still think it has a place in their product line, because there are people out there that bought the 4KP that are extremely happy with it, that love it, and would do it over and over again, even at those high prices. So I think they still have to keep the 4KP. They need to market more towards the HD, because the HD, I think, is going to be more popular overall, and then make the 4KP more of a premium line, more exclusive to like their higher end customers that spend loads of money with them. Papa Brad says week 1 deals are the best discount you will see on At Game software. And Thor KK says the micro is great, but it won't ever Wonderlay Zen tables, like the HDP and 4KP. That and XRK for Pinball FX VR might be the right choice. Yeah, I love the ability to play my pinball in VR, even though I don't play a ton of it in VR. Like I may only play like an hour or two a week of my pinball in VR. I do love having the option of doing that. And when I do play it that way, I really enjoy it. I've spend a bulk of my time playing it on the flat screen like I did during that live stream today, because it's just so much easier to walk up to the machine and play it that way. Where if I play in VR, I've got to put the headset on, I've got to make sure it's all set up right, and it takes a little bit of time. Also, I don't like to be in VR more than like an hour or two at a time, where I can sit in front of that flat screen for hours on end and play pinball. Papa Brad's Gaming says the 4KP is a great machine. It just is too expensive to make new ones right now. Mike Hawkert says, looking forward to downloading TMNT this week on the 4KP. Have been enjoying both Elvira tables. Yes, I've been really enjoying those 2 new Elvira tables. Party Monsters has really grown on me too. Initially, Scared Stiff was the real winner, I thought. But the more time I'm getting with Party Monsters, the more I'm liking that table. I love the challenge of that one. And it just feels like more like the real thing, right? Like those 2 new tables, Scared Stiff and Party Monsters, just feel like real pinball tables. And I've slowly seen the progression of Zen to where they've gotten with these Elvira ones. But it's been great. PB&J Racing says the micro is great if you have the VIBS board. For me, I dock a Steam Deck and play Pinball FX3 tables on it. All right, so maybe that micro is the route I need to go, and then I can get both. I can get the Stern pinball and get into an At Games pinball at the same time. We'll see how this goes. We got a few weeks to plan out our Black Friday shopping, and maybe I need to take my own advice, get a Sam's Club membership, do some more walk and talks like I used to do, especially now that we're getting into the holiday season, and kind of pregame my shopping experience this year, because you really got to be in the stores. You got to be, out there in the field to find these deals and to talk with the owners and the managers and to figure out when you need to be there and all that. So I really need to get myself out there in the store to take advantage of a lot of this stuff. I got to be more like PD7. Mike Carkhart says, when production of 4KP resumes, I'd like to see skins of South Park, Elvira, and whatever Star Wars titles find their way to the platform. I know. I wish these Star Wars tables would make it. Seems like they've taken forever for those to come. B. Kirby says, I agree with Steps. I can see At Games going with less expensive HD because the 4KP did not sell well. A few thousand isn't going to cut it. Absolutely. So the kind of final thoughts tonight, I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm just going to kind of show you guys like some stuff from my weekend and just like other stuff I've been interested in. So these are just some images. Like if you guys want to friend me on Facebook, I'm on there if you guys want to friend me. But I went to up north about 2 hours to a place called Horton Creek, which is right outside of Payson, Arizona. And when I first moved to Arizona, I had moved here 4 years ago. And one of the first people I met had told me, if you like hiking, the one place you need to go is Horton Creek. He goes, it's so amazing there. And over these last 4 years, I've kind of avoided that area of Arizona because it's so far away and it's so hard to get to because I got to go through downtown Phoenix to get to that side of town to get there. So I've kind of avoided going to Payson. I've only been a few times. And most of the time I go with someone else. I don't drive, but I had a rental car this weekend. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to go out there. And boy, was I missing out. I should have been doing this a long time ago because I did 8 miles in like over 2,000 feet of elevation, and it didn't feel like I did hardly anything. Even though I was tired, the time went by so fast because there's just so much to see and so much to take in along your route. It's along a bunch of waterfalls going all up the mountain. It's so cool. And this water is crystal freaking clear. Like it is as clear as you can get. And the reason is it's a natural spring. It comes out of the mountain. Like you get up to the top of where the water's coming out and it's literally coming out of the ground. So cool. And this is me kind of towards the top. I turned around with about a few hundred feet left because when I was starting to get to the top, it was getting really brushy and the trail was starting to end. So this is kind of where I peaked at right here. But I was at about 7,100 feet right here, a little higher. And it went to about 7,400 feet at the end. But I got a really good view right here. I don't think you guys can see my mouse pointer, but there's a mountain out there way kind of in the center of the screen, like the very, very center of my screen right now. There's a mountain out there in the distance. And that's a mountain that you can almost see from Phoenix. So like you could almost see Phoenix from here, almost. And then like just it's so lush. Like, you know, we live in the desert here in Phoenix, but when you get up to this area, Arizona, it's just like so foresty. It's like thick, thick forest. And it's so much fun to go up there. But like this was me when I was first walking into the park and you could see that waterfall in the distance. I was like, what is that going to be? And then you start seeing this stuff. I need to mute that. There we go. But it's got this like green stuff. And I know like if you grow up in like the Pacific Northwest, you're gonna see this all the time, so it's not a really big deal. But for me, being from Texas, living here, you know, I've never seen this stuff, and I haven't been up to like Seattle or Oregon yet. So this is huge for me. But that's the top. That's where I was going, and where I was going to end up was up there. And it got so thick, and like the trail was kind of like hard to follow at this point. I gave up. Plus, there's a road up there. Like you can literally drive up there. So it kind of makes it difficult to like really bust your ass to get up there when you know you could just drive up there if you wanted. But I had a really good time. Yeah, there I was, 7,161 feet when I turned around. And it said 3.49 miles, but I actually didn't start tracking until I was about a mile in. So I was actually about 4.5 miles in at that point, and I still had to go back 4.5 miles. That was me coming back down. And this was me coming back down, just getting some more shots of the water. But really, really cool experience. And, you know, when I'm not gaming or I'm not doing content on YouTube, like this is mostly what I'm doing is I'm out hiking, getting outdoors, trying to get my exercise. Also just experiencing nature, I think is important, like for your well-being, to get away from computer screens and to get away from people and society and work and all that, and just get out into the wilderness and be around the animals and the trees and all that is very important, I think. And something I try to make a point to do every week. And that was a large part of the reason why I had moved to Arizona, was to do the hiking and to get more outdoors. Because like in Texas, it's all fenced off. Everything is property. Everyone owns property in Texas. And there's like hardly any free land. There's small parks and stuff, but there's not really a lot of area to just go hike for miles on end. But in Arizona, you can just go for hundreds of miles if you want, because it's mostly all federal and state land. So that's why I'd moved here, and I've never looked back. I've really enjoyed living here. Even though I miss my family a lot, I try to keep in contact with them as much as I can. The hiking and the outdoors has really kind of made up for that and made me happy here. But trying to think of, okay, there was another story that I'd followed really heavily this week. And this is kind of how I got into hiking in the first place, and mountain climbing. Was I just started like researching mountains and elevations and all this stuff back when I was in Texas, and that's what got me into it. And I just like got really like sucked into like researching it and learning about it. Well, I started getting into caving this like last week or two. It just came across on a video on YouTube for me. And it was about this Nutty Putty cave in Utah. And I was like, I watched this video, and I was just like so engrossed by the story and this guy's story and what happened to him and everything. Well, these guys went into this cave in Utah, and it's like one of these really small caves that has like all these really small areas that you have to like crawl through like on your hands and knees, and it's just like a tube, really, really small. So you cannot be claustrophobic at all to do this kind of stuff. But these guys went into this cave, and it's this huge cave of like all these little areas you can go. Well, there was this one area where it says rescue a route through Nut Putty. He went down this route, and you can see where he went. And this was all unexplored areas of the cave. No one had ever gone into this area because it was so dangerous and it was so small of a hole that no one would risk going in there. And hundreds of years, thousands of years, no one had ever mapped out this portion of the cave. Over all this time, no one had done it. Well, this guy gets into this cave, and he's like just going as fast as he can, and he thinks he's going right to this area that's mapped. He actually went left into this area that is unexplored and unmapped, and the freaking guy unfortunately gets stuck in there upside down, and like that's his legs coming out right there, and he's deep down in there. And I watched the whole rescue story and everything, and been learning all about this stuff. And it's just so sad, but it's also so interesting at the same time. Here's what he looked like. Say he was coming down, and then he went into this little hole there at the very bottom, and he got down in it, it ended. And then he's like, oh crap, it ended. And normally how people get out is they find like a bigger area, and they'll turn around and exit out, you know, head first. Well, he couldn't turn around. So now he's stuck upside down. And what's worse about being stuck in this position is like all the blood flows to your head. So even though they were able to get rescuers out there, they were able to get them food and water, they were able to build like this pulley system to help get them out and all this stuff, they were really limited on time, because you can only live in this position for like 16 hours, they say, before you'll pass away. Well, he ended up making it like 2 or 3 days in this position, but he slowly started like declining. They almost ended up getting him out. They built this like very sophisticated pulley system, and they were able to actually almost get him out. And what ended up happening, like if we go back to this image here, his feet got stuck above him and they couldn't pull him any farther out. And so they were thinking about breaking his legs so then they could get him out. But then it's like, you know, they break your legs. It's like, what life do you really have left when you get out at that point? You know, you're probably going to be handicapped the rest of your life. So they kind of, you know, tried to weigh the good and the bad of doing that. Well, by the time they were trying to make that decision, he passed away during that time. We like became non-responsive and ended up passing away. They ended up sealing the cave. So you can still go see the cave, but it's all like been cemented in, so you can't get into it. But this is what it looked like when you came across it, you know, walking by it, just like a hole in the ground. So just really interesting story. I know it's got nothing to do with home arcade or anything we talk about normally on this channel, but I don't know. It's just really cool. And like caving and that hobby and that sport. And also learning about this guy who had passed away doing this. It was just really interesting learning about it, learning about this cave. Evidently, we got a few caves around here in Arizona like this. So I'm thinking about, you know, maybe here soon going up north to check some of these out. I don't think I'll ever be on my hands and knees crawling through these like small tubes. I am way too claustrophobic for that. But I may be able to get into some of the bigger caves that you can walk around in and explore some of those. But interesting stuff, right, guys? Thor Kate says Oregon is beautiful. Papa Brad had a bunch of chats in here. He says, as far as At Games Pinball goes, everyone is welcome to play. Israel Gaming says, would you skydive or bungee jump, Biggie D? No, would not skydive or bungee jump at all. I am, like, I'm not scared of heights when I mountain climb because I'm on the ground. I've got 2 feet on the ground, but up in the sky, like, no way could I do anything like that. Papa Brad's Gaming says, watched Fantastic Four and Long Legs this weekend. Pretty good films. Biggie, don't get lost in a cave, bro, Evan says. And what about diving? So diving may be in my future. I'm like very good swimmer. I was a lifeguard growing up. Definitely can do it. My worry would be the pressure in my ears, because growing up I always kind of had issues with my ears. I don't know if I can handle that much pressure or not. Because like when I go like just snorkeling and stuff, I have an issue just, you know, with 20, 30 feet. I don't know if I can handle hundreds of feet of pressure, but we'll see. Neo Arcade News says, I've been spelunking once. What is spelunking? I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up, because I can't end the stream without knowing what that is. Recreation pastime of exploring caves. Okay, so I learned something new. Nice. You've been once. How did you like it? Did you enjoy it? And all right. Well, I accidentally just closed my chat window. So now I got to get that back up, because we got to close out the poll and we got to see what the poll was saying. I thought I had accidentally closed OBS. Luckily, I did not. We got 20 people watching right now. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight and hanging out. Oh, there it is. It was just behind another window. Okay. You guys are still here. B Kirby, hell no. I'm extremely claustrophobic. That's where I would be. Is I couldn't get into like real small holes or real small areas. I just would feel trapped and I couldn't handle that. But like bigger caves where you can walk around, where you don't have to get on your hands and knees, for instance, I can handle that. Oh, that's terrifying. Yes. Yes, it is, Thor. Evan's saying he's never going into a cave now. B. Curvy says, I crawled out of an MRI machine because the guy wasn't moving fast enough. I would do anything like that. Poor guy. Yeah, I know. It's very sad what happened to him. Very, very sad way to die, and also a very, very painful way to die, too. Neo says, I did spelunking when I was skinny kid. It was fun then. I don't know if I'd do it now as I'm a fatter adult. And that was the one thing with that guy is he was 6 foot, 200 pounds. And a lot of the people that do this, especially these smaller caves like this, are, 150 pounds, 160 pounds, 5'3", 5'4". Those are like your ideal sizes for that kind of sport. So definitely smaller, the better for sure. And we'll wrap it up with Thor's last message here now that we're at over 2 hours. Thor says, my uncle took me spelunking in Southern Oregon once. I ended up getting a burn on my arm from one of the lanterns. But other than that, I have really enjoyed it. Very cool. Something new I haven't tried yet, so it'll be something I'll get into hopefully next year or maybe later towards the end of this year. We'll see when I can get up there to a cave to check it out to see if I enjoy it. But wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of the night. Hope you guys have a great Monday morning. And make it a great week, guys. Steps, have a good night. Take care, everybody. And hope you guys have enjoyed the home arcade news and the little bit of talk here at the end. But you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.